Hi, welcome, Viv here, and I'm trying a new setup system, so I'm just checking that it's all going and working. So, welcome Tuesday, sun is shining, and we're in spring. Hopefully, it's going to start getting a bit warmer. So, today's question is where am I going and why? So, where am I going and why? I think it's really important, particularly for creative women, entrepreneurs, about knowing where you are going and why. The Just Stop lessons about pausing and finding out where you are. I'm really overwhelmed myself by the amount that is out there on social media about training and doing this and doing that and teaching about business. But there's a real key thing about being passionate about what you are doing, and passion rolls. So, using the analogy that I used when in 2012 I was navigating race boats down the Solent. I was working in the city. I was using the same skill set. I was organizing a framework to support people in their system to move forward, to be able to be in flow with what they were doing. That's just the thing that I really quite like to do. I like people to be able to take a wider perspective and find a framework that they can then ground to be able to move forward. And what I was finding that I was really passionate about what I was doing, but I was working in one environment that wasn't really lifting me up, wasn't making me feel passionate. Actually, the more successful I felt I was coming in that, the more I felt that I didn't know when to stop. I didn't know, my confidence was taking a knock and I was getting tired. I just was giving all the time and not really in balance with myself. Where in the environment where I was learning sales, my passion, we were winning races. I was improving. I was finding my voice. And I knew it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be doing what I was doing in an environment that I really enjoyed, where people wanted to change, where they wanted to be more authentic, where they wanted to take time to get to know each other. And the win wasn't always about the win. We didn't go out saying we're going to win every weekend. Sometimes go out and just come last. It was about bringing the team together. It was about having that value of community, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And I'd always enjoyed that part of my job. No matter where I worked, I was always the person who, if somebody wasn't taking time to manage somebody correctly, I would step in and mentor them, or I would go and I would be a governor at a school, or I would do numbers partners. It was those environments that I really enjoyed, taking in information, breaking it down, finding a different way to do it, shipping it out and getting people to move along. And so I knew that that was what was my why. But at the time, I didn't know where I was going. All I felt was I was going up this mountain and that I wasn't particularly keen on going up. And I was starting to experience interactions with individuals that weren't doing me the world of good. Nobody had given me a rule book about what it was like to work as a woman in a very hierarchical organization, nor did I feel that I was equipped with some of the, not the responsibility taken on, but like definitely in terms of, you know, the some of the politics, particularly around pay and negotiation, I hadn't quite learned. We can all do it. It's just, have we learned it? And then there was other kind of aspects where I was working with people who I just didn't click with, and it was going to be a bit like in the schoolyard, and I wasn't really prepared anymore to be in that environment. But then making the transition over, I started to look at what people had always said to me about what they thought I was going to do, in terms of, you know, Lindsay Gibson makes this point, there's a checklist. If your purpose is something, people will have said it to you over and over again since childhood. I used to think, sorry, the bin men are out, so I can't do anything about them. I used to think when my dad used to say that I reminded him of his sister who was a nun, that he thought I was going to be a nun. But actually, what he was talking about in terms of the way I reminded him of his sister and his niece, in terms of the fact that they taught their capacity for wanting to share knowledge, to support people, to move people on in life. And that's where he was really coming from. And also in the same way, people had said to me about sailing and, you know, getting involved in outdoor sports, being part more of a community and team kind of activity. I was more adept for that than I was for sitting in an office 9 to 5. I would never sit at my desk for more than an hour. Still can't do that. And I can't really work 9 to 5. I prefer about 6 to 10 and about 6 till midnight. That's the way I work. So what I'm inviting you to do is start to be curious about who you are and where you're going. You know, what is your why? What is your desire? What is it that you're going to be happy working on for a significant piece of time? So I've been working on my business for 9 years and 9 months, it tells me on LinkedIn. But I've had this idea nurturing away for over 20 years. It's something that I keep getting up, and I will find a way to move forward. I've built a lot of resilience through it, and it gets me up in the morning. And when I've talked to any entrepreneur or any business owner, they don't have to be entrepreneurial, it's that joy of getting up, that even when it's one of those damp grey days and you're facing issues that you do not want to deal with, you will find some way to move through it, whether that's sitting down and have a good cry, or whether that's kind of delegating or going and finding somebody to just offload. You will find a way to pick yourself up, to move towards it, as long as it's being done in a healthy, challenging way. And I feel it's really important at the moment because there is so much out there on social media. I even feel very overwhelmed by, all people just kind of saying, do this, do that, do the other. And again, I started in 2012. I left my job in 2013, and I've been on all of those programs, and totally have done the programs that are right up the street for supporting my why. And I've made mistakes. I've signed up to programs that support my why. I haven't finished them because they've been too overwhelming, and I've realized I haven't done my homework in some of them. And I've also signed up for programs because I've decided to follow the fella in front of us, and realizing that actually that's not really a good strategy either. And particularly as a woman, is part of this is about reclaiming your own inner voice. It's about pursuing work opportunities, because women will pursue work opportunities in a different way. I know men are taking on an awful lot more in terms of house care and everything else. Women still take an awful lot more responsibility in terms of the family. So there's patterns of behavior in terms of how we reflect our life courses and the interruptions and the things we have to take on at different stages of life. So, can't put them in two bowls, and just be mindful of that. There'll be different internal and external challenges. There'll be different ways of looking at things. So get clear, spend time, use the Just Stop lesson. When we're talking about where we're going and our why, we're also focusing in on what our needs are. And even I sometimes struggle at knowing, what do I need? People say, what do you need? What do I need? I don't really know what I need. Sometimes I just need somebody to do something. I don't care what they do, just do something. So, spend time figuring that out. It's the most important thing that you will do, and it's the most rewarding thing when you become alignment, because then once you get the head and the heart in line, it will become more and more of a journey. So my invitation for you today is to start to become curious, and curious is about taking that step away, that we're not getting so personally involved. We're not in the weeds. We're kind of taking a stand back and we're going, oh, so that might be the way it's going. It's looking at what we're thinking. It's looking at how we're feeling. It's looking at how everything is moving around us. We're looking at what other people are doing, and then just consciously taking a step back to just being curious about why, what, how, all these open questions, and just taking some silence, and then really just engaging, with yourself, like, what is it you need? Just start throwing those questions out. What is it do I need? What is my why? And then start to be curious about what pops up for you. A really silly story, and it's probably going to make me look totally bonkers. But I had this whole thing about San Francisco a few years ago. I just didn't know why. I just had this whole thing about San Francisco. Everywhere I went, I was like, San Francisco would pop up. I would pick up a guidebook. I would see it on every time I logged into my internet. And I know what you're going to say, Google is in San Francisco. I know that. But I would see all of these things. And then I started to recognize that actually maybe there was something in it. So I went to San Francisco. And I ended up staying in a place where had the oldest female gathering of psychology, the oldest one. And actually, Carl Jung had been there. And this was way before I even had thought about training as a psychologist. To be honest, I was kind of in San Francisco. I was doing this retreat. I ended up in this place. And then I went and I watched some sailing. And I kind of felt a bit odd being there. But looking back now, I kind of think, oh, now I get it. You know, I got to see something from a different perspective and get a real good grounding. So just be curious. That's curiosity. It's kind of like, oh, and be mindful that, you know, following your heart, following your purpose and your why is a scary move. It is making a step out to have your voice heard. But you don't have to rush out. Just take it gently with yourself. And that first starts with this exercise of using the Just Stop lesson to figure out what you need, to reflect on what you're willing to do to get it, and just really start to be curious. Just ask questions, you know, of those things that keep arising for you. So that's the end of my rant for today. This is Grown Whale. This is Viv Bannigan, and I'm the owner of Grown Whale, which is a training and mentoring company based in the UK. I work with females who are creative and entrepreneurial, and they feel a lack of confidence, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling confused about the next step in their journey, and they're wanting to understand their unique landscape and how their vision can manifest. And we do this by sharing with them our key framework called the MAP, which works through mastery, action, and passion. It's all about taking back control of the reins of your journey with clarity and confidence. And so for this week, we have a webinar at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Thursday. I will put both links below. It would be lovely to have you join. If you want to sign up to hear more, we will put the link as well to our free resource. We are going to be announcing our program. We'll be launching our program in the next week or so. So please do sign up either for the webinar or for the free resource, and then you will hear about other services and offerings we have going forward. Till then, remember, the first person one leads is oneself, mind, body, and spirit. And for all of those who have dropped onto this short video today, thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon.